Hello everyone, welcome back to our second tutorial, Introduction to C. In the previous tutorial, we had already seen the necessity to learn C programming. Now, in this lecture, we are going to learn the basics of C, which is an important part before writing any program. In this video, the topics we are going to cover is getting started with C, character set, identifiers, variables, constant and literals, keywords, data types, and format specifiers. So let's start. To communicate with the computer, we need a language, and one such language is C. There are different computer programming language that is used by a programmer to communicate with a computer. And you will be amazed to know that there is a close resemblance between learning English and learning C. Now, if we want to learn English, the first step of learning English is to learn alphabets, and then these alphabets combine to form into words, then to sentences and paragraph. In a similar way, we cannot directly start writing a program. The first step is to learn about alphabets, digits, special symbols. We can denote them as character. Then these characters combine to form constant, variables and keywords. Finally, instructions are formed which later combine to form a complete program. So let's learn the character set in detail. A character denotes any alphabet, digits or special symbols used to represent information. The character set is the necessary raw material of any language used to build the program. The characters in C are divided into two sets. Source character set. It includes alphabet, digits, special characters and white spaces. Second, execution character set. It includes escape sequence which consists of a backslash and a letter or a combination of digits. Let us understand these characters in detail. Source character consists of alphabets. It can be lowercase a to z and uppercase a to z. Then digits 0 to 9 and special characters such as exclamation mark, @ symbol, $sign, percentage sign, caret, ampersand, asterisk. White spaces can be \t, tab, new lines, \n or space, etc. Now let's talk about execution character set. This set consists of unprintable characters which are not displayed on screen and perform other functions. All the execution characters are formed by backslash followed by a character. The character combination are called as escape sequence. These are called execution character because they are used in output statements or at the time of execution of program. Example of execution characters are backspace, \p, it moves to previous position, horizontal tab, \t, moves next horizontal tab, and so on. These character sets are used to form variables, constants and keywords which act as the building block to form a basic C program. Till now, we have learned the C alphabets. Now, let's move to the second steps, forming words. In our case, it is an identifier. An identifier is used to denote the name of an entity. An entity can be a variable, function, class or structure. There are some rules for naming an entity. First, an identifier name must be unique in a given program. An identifier can only contain alphanumeric characters and underscore. An identifier must not contain white spaces. An identifier is a case sensitive. Example, int sum is equal to 0, float multiplication, curly braces, sum statement, curly braces close. In the first example, entity name sum is declared of type int. In the second example, we have defined a function name multiplication. You might thinking about new words int, char. These are called data types. Don't worry about these. We will discuss them in our upcoming slides. Now, we will discuss variables. Variable is also an identifier. Variables are simply used to denote some data values which are stored in the memory. The data which we want to store in our computer is stored in the main memory of the computer, and the thing which points to that memory location termed as variable. We can change the value of variables during the execution of program. Variables can contain alphanumeric characters and an underscore. It cannot contain special symbols. Variable cannot begin with a numeric character. Example: int a 123 is equal to 1, char underscore b is equal to j, float 12a is equal to 4.3. Now let's think whether these three are correct or not. The first declaration is correct as it contains alphanumeric character and digits. The second variable is also correct as it contains an underscore and alphanumeric character. The third variable is not correct as it begins with a numeric character, which is not allowed. The another identifier is constants. Constants are those whose values can't be changed during the execution of the program. To define a constant, there are two ways. First, using hash define. Second, using const keyword. Example for both the ways are hash define length 10, const int length is equal to 10. Here, length is a symbolic constant of value 10. Its value cannot be changed. For example, if we change the value of length is equal to 15 in a program, it produces an error. Types of constants. C constants are divided into two parts, primary constant and secondary constants. For now, we will discuss primary constants only. Integer constant. It is a numeric constant without any fractional or exponential part. Example: 12 minus 262, 0, 0x6. Float. It is a numeric constant that has either a fractional or exponential form. Example: 45.3. Single character, a character inside a quotation marks. Example: Q, 4. Here, 4 is considered as a character and not a number. String, sequence of character are known as strings. Example: ABC 4329. Backslash character, these are also called escape sequence character. They always preceded by backslash symbol followed by character. Example: backslash 3, backslash t and backslash n. Secondary constants are array, structure, pointer, enum and union. We will discuss them later. Literals. Literal is an explicit value given to a variable by the user. Literals are of four types. First, integer literal. It can define in three ways in C. Decimal number. It uses digits between 0 to 9. Example: 92. Octal number. Prefixed with 0 followed by digits between 0 to 7. Example: 023. Hexadecimal number. Prefixed with 0x followed by 0 to 9 digits or character A to F. Example: 0xA3. Second, float or real literal. It can define by two ways in C. First, decimal notation, signed whole number followed by optional decimal point. Example: plus 3.1, minus 0.211. Exponential notation. It is useful in representing very big small number in mantissa and exponent format. For example, 48.5 into 10 to the power 11 can be represented as 4.85 E12. Here 4.85 is mantissa and 12 is exponent. Third, character literal. It includes a single character constant. It can specify using character inside single quotes, using escape sequence character backslash n, using ASCII code b is equal to 66, using octal and hexadecimal representation 01xt, using Unicode value backslash u 00a7. Fourth, string literal. It is the sequence of characters. Examples of some valid string literals are ABC. Enjoy programming. String constants occupies total number of character plus 1 byte space in memory. The extra 1 byte is used for backslash 0, which is a null character. For example, here ABC, it takes 4 bytes space in memory. 3 plus 1. Keywords. Keywords are the words whose meaning has already been defined in the compiler. These words cannot be used as variable names. The keywords are also known as reserve words. There are 32 keywords available in C. These are some keywords. The basic usage of these keywords are int, float, char, double, long. These are the primary data types used during variable and function declaration. If, else, switch, case, default. These are used for decision control programming structure. For, while, do. These are the types of loop in C. Break, used with any loop or switch case. Go to, used for redirecting the flow of execution. A good program should avoid the use of goto. We will learn it later. Auto, signed, const, extern, register, unsigned. They used to define a variable. Return. It is used for returning a value. Continue. It is generally used with for, while and do while loop. When compiler encounters these statements, it performs the next iteration of the loop. Enum, set of constants. Size of, it is used to know the size. Struct, typedef, both of these keywords used in structures. Union, it is a collection of variables which shares the same memory location and memory storage. If you don't know about these usage appropriately right now, don't worry. Whenever we use them, we'll discuss it again. Data types. Data types is used to determine what type of data we enter in a program. It refers to the type and size of the data associated with variables and functions. Each data type has its own size to store in the memory location. For example, char n is equal to a. Here, char is a keyword which tells the compiler that n is a variable of type character literal and has a value a. Now let me tell you about the characteristics of these data type. Each data type has size and range. In our example, character has a size of 8 bits and of range -128 to +127. And these size of data types may vary according to the system configuration. That means either it is 32-bit or 64-bit platform. The different data types given in our picture are according to 64-bit platform system. You have to learn them for the interview purpose and competitive exam as well. There are two categories of data types. Primary data type. These are the fundamental data types in C. Integer, char, float and voids are the primary data type. The additional signed, unsigned, short and long are the type modifiers. Let us understand these type modifiers with an example. Here, default char is treated as signed type. Suppose we want to deal with only positive numbers and need more range than character. Character has size 8 bits and -128 to +127 range. An unsigned char has same size 8 bits but double the range, which is 0 to 255. It adds the negative portion into the positive part, 127 plus 128, and range becomes 0 to 255. Now look at another situation. We need to store the age of a person. If we choose int as the data type, it uses 32 bits in the memory location with such a big range which is not useful for us. So we use short int which has size 8 bits and our required range -128 to +127. Similarly, when we need to increase the range, we use long type modifier. Derived data types. These are the sequence of primary data types. Example, array, structure, union and pointer. Format specifiers. This is the last topic of our video. Format specifiers are used to tell our compiler the type of the data that is stored in a variable when these variables are used in input-output functions. These are used during input and output. When a user wants to retrieve the data stored in a variable, he cannot do it directly. So he needs format specifier. Format specifiers start with percentage operator followed by a character for identifying the type of data. There are different types of format specifier. %d for decimal integer, %i for octal or hexadecimal integer, %f for float, and so on. We'll understand them more precisely when we use them. Until then, try to learn the identification of data type. So this is all about the basics of C. Hope you have enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any queries, feel free to contact us at our email. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned.